In December of 1978, the city of Chicago was thrust into the gruesome spotlight when its police found a horrifying trail of evidence that pointed to a deeply troubled person. This nightmare-inducing news was all about the horrible things that were found under the floorboards of a normal neighborhood house. This sad discovery was the first step in figuring out a story that would lead to the arrest of one of the most famous serial killers the U.S. had ever seen. John Wayne Gacy was the person who did these horrible things. His name will always be tied to the killer clown, who was responsible for a string of murders that will go down in history. In this video, we will know more about this serial killer. So make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get regular updates. Let's get started. The masked killer living among them. In the quiet suburban neighborhood north of Chicago, John Wayne Gacy was a well-respected and even liked figure. Running a successful construction business, regularly attending church services, and actively participating in the local Polish community, he had woven himself into the fabric of his surroundings. He was married to his second wife, presenting an image of a devoted stepfather to her two daughters. Holding a position as a precinct captain for the Democratic Party, Gacy even had a photograph taken with First Lady Rosalynn Carter in 1978, seemingly establishing himself as a model citizen. However, lurking beneath the surface was the realization that Gacy had committed unspeakable acts. The double life unveiled. Beneath the facade of his suburban life, Gacy concealed a dark past. Before relocating to Chicago, he had lived in Iowa, where he faced arrest for assaulting two young men during a time when his first wife was in the hospital giving birth. Following his divorce and release from prison, Gacy made a fresh start in Chicago. Yet, his sinister inclinations were far from extinguished. His marriage to his second wife ended in 1976 after he revealed his bisexuality. This newfound freedom paved the way for his twisted fantasies to take hold, and he embarked on a spree of horrifying murders. The disappearance of Robert Piest. The unraveling of Gacy's monstrous activities began with the disappearance of Robert Piest. On December 11, 1978, Robert was supposed to meet his mother after his pharmacy shift. He informed her that he was meeting a man regarding a potential construction job, promising it would only take a few minutes. However, he never returned. His panicked mother reported him missing, and Lieutenant Kozenchak took the case. Suspicion fell on Gacy due to his criminal history and previous complaints. Robert's connection to Gacy's construction business and the fact that Gacy's car was found near the Des Plaines River heightened suspicions. The horrifying truth. As investigators dug deeper, they unearthed a shocking truth. Gacy's home held gruesome secrets. The disappearance of Robert Piest became the tip of the iceberg. Through a search warrant, Gacy's home was scoured, and investigators discovered a receipt belonging to Robert. While Gacy's connection to missing boys was becoming clearer, he remained under surveillance. When officers were invited into his home, they sensed the unmistakable scent of death. Gacy's web of lies was rapidly crumbling. The confession and unmasking of the killer. Arrested for drug-related charges during surveillance, Gacy's facade of innocence finally cracked. Faced with the possibility of his floorboards being torn apart, he admitted to the murder. He confessed to killing at least 32 young men, burying some under his property and disposing of others in the Des Plaines River. Gacy's true identity as a sadistic serial killer was laid bare. With his arrest, the investigation delved into the horrifying extent of his crimes. The trial and revelation of the heinous crimes. Gacy's trial commenced in 1980, a harrowing legal proceeding that revealed the extent of his brutality. The courtroom was barred to those under 16 due to the graphic nature of the evidence. Facing the death penalty, Gacy pleaded not guilty, attempting an insanity defense. However, after a 5-week trial, the jury took a mere 2 hours to find him guilty of the murders of 33 young men. Gacy's sentence was death by lethal injection. Gacy spent years on death row, using his time to paint eerie depictions of clowns. Eventually, all appeals were exhausted, and he met his execution on May 10, 1994, defiant to the end. At that point, only 26 of his 33 victims had been positively identified. The advent of DNA testing would later aid in identifying more victims, while his heinous actions prompted the creation of a database for missing and murdered children, aiming to prevent similar tragedies in the future. The story of John Wayne Gacy serves as a chilling reminder that appearances can be deceiving. Hidden behind a veneer of community involvement and seeming normalcy, Gacy carried out unspeakable acts of violence. His crimes left an indelible mark on the city of Chicago and the history of criminal investigations, prompting a fervent pursuit of justice and a commitment to prevent such horrors from recurring. That's all for today. Give this video a big thumbs up and make sure to follow us for regular updates. Thanks for watching.